Hi everybody, Bob Stafford here, Trainmaster Bob, and today I wanted to share with you the track plan for my new layout and give you an idea of what kind of operations I'm going to be having on it. So now let's start going through Third Planet and I'll share it with you. We live in a duplex house. Up until this year we were living on this side. Notice I got my locomotive bell and a Northern Pacific switch stand over here. And my mom lived on this side. After my mom made her transition back to the spirit world, we remodeled this side. And we moved over on this side just a few months ago. We made that move in, it was June. And there was two garages right here. So we enclosed the both garages. This side over here now is my train house, or ultimate man cave. I put a 42-inch shop door in here. And this over here now is like our storeroom, as we're calling it. And we got a normal 36-inch door over here. So over here now I am beginning the process of remodeling the house into a model railroad house. And I'll show you what I'm doing. As you walk in the front door, there's a wall that runs all the way across here that I am removing, taking that wall out. And there's a wall here going in that forms a hallway up to a front bedroom. And that wall is also coming out. This bathroom is coming out. The walls have got to be left in place here. There's a heater here. And there's a heater here. And there's electrical outlets. So I'm going to just take bathtub out here and then this piece of wall out there so we can walk into here. Over here, the same thing again. There's electrical outlets on this wall that need to be left in place. And there's a heater here, which I'm going to relocate by building a small stub wall underneath the layout and putting the heater here. So that's what I'm working on now, basically, is remodeling. On my old layout, this area here was the west yard at Bath, Pennsylvania. Well, I kept this piece in. I built the room that I'm sitting in right now, right across here, as my modeling workshop. It's 10 foot across this way, and most of it's 6 foot across, except right here where the washer and dryer were set into the wall. This is 10 foot. And I made this into a modeling room by putting a countertop in here with a shop sink. And I have my spray paint booth over here connected to the old dryer vent. So my railroad is going to become the Susquehanna and Hudson River Railroad. It's basically going to be like the Lehigh, New England and Lehigh Hudson River, New York Susquehanna Western theme type of railroad, running from the anthracite coal fields in the area around Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and going to Jersey City, and at a place we will call Sussex Junction. A branches off there, and it goes to Maybrook, New York, to connect with the New Haven Railroad. So in this area here, this will be Wilkes-Barre. I've saved the yard from the old layout and making some track changes. But we'll have interchange here with the Lackawanna Railroad in the Lehigh Valley and a coal breaker, combination freight house, passenger depot here. And on the other side of the wall in my workshop, I've got a shelf with 4 tracks on it to represent the Buttonwood section of Wilkes-Barre, where we'll be connecting with the Pennsylvania Railroad and the Baltimore and Lehigh Railroad. We'll come through the wall and we'll come to Avoca. And Avoca is the main center of operations for this railroad. We got a yard at Avoca with our engine terminal. I've never had a roundhouse and turntable in all these years. I just never had one because I had no room for it. Well, I'm going to have my roundhouse and turntable in this layout. Fulfill that desire that I've had for like 60 years, I guess. From Avoca, I'm going to come around here to Miner's Mill. And then we're going around to the hallway here. Track's going to loop around, gain some elevation, and we're going to come into Music. At Music, there's going to be a run-of-mine load-out operation that's going to be feeding coal to the breaker at Wilkes-Barre. Maybrook is going to be built on a foot-wide shelf above the cementing. And it's going to go appears to be 69 inches, which will give a nice duck under. So this will be 69 inches high here, which will put about 10 inches above the town of Cementon. And all Maybrook is going to be is double-ended tracks going into a stub. And the stub will be about 30 inches long. So you get a 3-unit consist past the last switch to make a runaround move. And there's going to be a stub track here. I could park a New Haven switch engine in. Give the feel of Maybrook Yard. So that's the basics of what I'm doing here. And now let's go and going to get a more detailed look with Third Planit. We'll begin in Wilkes-Barre and work our way across the railroad. Operations on the Susquehanna Hudson River are going to consist of 6 yard and local freight jobs, 2 pairs of mainline trains operating between Jersey City and Avoca, 2 pairs of mainline trains running between Maybrook and Avoca, and 1 train a day running between Jersey City and Maybrook. We're going to have our Avoca yard drill. That will work the yard here at Avoca. And then we're going to have the Wilkes-Barre grab. We're going to have a morning Wilkes-Barre grab and an afternoon Wilkes-Barre grab. These will be 2 separate jobs. Each job will originate in Avoca, and they'll make 2 trips a day between Avoca and Wilkes-Barre. First trip will take traffic for the Pennsylvania Railroad and the Baltimore and Lehigh Railroad here at Buttonwood. And they'll spot the delivery and they'll pick up the pickup off the 2 railroads. And this job will also switch the freight house at Wilkes-Barre. Then this job will be classifying the cars that they picked up into the following blocks: Maybrook, Jersey City Float Yard, Jersey City Proper, and Shorts, which is all other. Then they'll return back to Avoca and set their train out. And they'll pick up their second train, which would be cars for the Lehigh Valley interchange and the Lackawanna interchange. So they'll leave Avoca over here, and then they'll interchange here with the 2 foreign railroads here. Again, pull their cars, come down here, classify them out into Maybrooks, Jersey City floats, and Jersey City propers and shorts, and then take their train to Avoca and tie up. The next job is going to be the mine run. Mine run will come on duty here at Avoca, and it's going to come around and come over to Music. It'll spot the empty coal hoppers that came out of Avoca with and pull the loaded hoppers of run-of-mine coal. It'll then return back to Avoca, pick up empty coal cars at Avoca, and then come to Wilkes-Barre. At Wilkes-Barre, it'll switch out the Wilbur Mining Company Russell breaker, pulling the empty run-of-mine cars, spotting the loads of run-of-mine coal from Music. To pull the loaded coal from the 3 loadout tracks, spot empties into the loadout tracks, weigh all the coal that they picked up on the track scale, which is located here, and then will classify the coal that they picked up again into a Maybrook, car float, Jersey City proper, shorts blocks, and any cars for the local industries, that should say local interchange tracks, will deliver them to the Lehigh Valley, the Lackawanna, or the Pensy, and the Baltimore and Lehigh, and then return back to Avoca and tie up. Our next job is going to be the cement drill. The cement drill will come on duty at Avoca. It'll handle all cars for cementing. At cementing, this job is going to switch the local industries, which is you have Carter Building Supply, Freight House, and Griffin Brothers Coal and Fuel, which receives coal from the Wilbur mine, and it also receives fuel oil for home eating, and tank cars that comes off connections at Wilkes-Barre. The cement drill will then be servicing Lehigh Portland Cement. Lehigh Portland Cement, we got 2 loadout tracks for bulk cement. I didn't have room to put a packing house in here. And I have a coal track here for inbound loads of coal for the cement mill. The outbound cement traffic will be weighed on a track scale here at Cementon. And cars that go east will be lined up in this track here, which is the east track. And they'll be blocked as Maybrooks, a float yard, and Jersey City proper. And then the cement drill will return back to Avoca. And our last job will be the Sparta roustabout. The Sparta roustabout will come on duty at Avoca, and he'll perform all the local switching between Avoca and Sparta, except for at Cementon. So they'll be switching the industries here at Miners Mill, coming around, handling the freight house here at Music. Then switching the slate quarry and the brickworks at Slatington, running through Cementon, not doing any work, and then coming up to Sparta Junction. At Sparta Junction, they'll handle the interchange with the New York, Susquehanna, and Western, and block any cars for pickup to go east on the east end of the interchange track. They'll block the Maybrooks together, any cars for Jersey City float together, and any cars for Jersey City proper. And we have a runaround track for that, so the train can then run around their train here and return back to Avoca. We're going to be running 2 mainline freight train pairs between Jersey City and Avoca. First one is going to be a morning train. It's going to be out of Jersey City, be AV1, with its counterpart JC2, originating out of Avoca. They'll be meeting online. And then in the early evening, we'll have another pair of trains, AV3 out of Jersey City and JC4 out of Avoca. Westbound out of Jersey City to Avoca, the trains will be going through with a set out at Cementon. Eastbound, the JC2 and JC4 will have a pickup at Cementon and a pickup at Sparta Junction. And they'll be making a set out at the float yard in Jersey City. The other pair of trains will be running here between Avoca and Maybrook. Eastbound will have train NE5, late morning, early afternoon train to Maybrook, returning back to Avoca as WB6. Then we'll have an early evening train of NH7 for New Haven 7. And that'll be returning back as WB8. And finally, we're going to have one set of trains running between Jersey City and Maybrook. It'll be BK9, be the westbound train, with JC10 as the eastbound train returning back to Jersey City. Now let's take a minute to talk about how Jersey City is going to operate. What I envision is when a freight train comes in here on the AVJC, the inbound train will make a set out here first of any cars for the car float. Then they're going to pull up into one of these tracks here, and in doing so stop here and cut off their caboose. And the yard crew can come down here, grab the caboose, tack it onto one of the other two trains that has the outbound train built in it, and then the road power can come down and get on the outbound train. Very simple. On the inbound train, any cars for the local industries over here in the house yard will be switched out to go to the house yard, and any cars not going to the house yard will just be classified to go back out in the westbound train. Envision Industries here. I was thinking about maybe Railway Express here, but I've got second thoughts about that. There's passenger train operations, commuter trains out of Cementon are going to come in. The first train's an RDC car. It'll pull in on the stub track here and pull down to the end of the track. The second commuter train will be an engine and a couple of cars. They'll pull in here in a double track, sided track here. Engine's going to run around, get on the other end of their cars, and then set over into the stub track. The Wilkes-Barre train, it's going to be 4 cars and an engine. So it'll start off here, go to Wilkes-Barre, come back. When it comes back, it'll pull in here. The engine will run around again and be in position for the second trip of the day out. And when the commuter trains come in, the Wilkes-Barre train will be gone, so this track will be clear. And now we'll move on to the house yard. House yard is going to be built in the remains of a former closet. One end of the closet's been removed here to allow for a walkway into the former bathroom where Jersey City is now located. So the house yard lead is going to come on in from through the wall here from Jersey City. Going to have 4 stub tracks across here, which will be serving a freight house, and that allow for box cars to be placed in here and drop the ramps between the doors to move freight back and forth between the cars and the freight house. And we'll have a fifth track here that could be used for the freight house, and its primarily purposes to allow for lead to get into the team tracks. We'll have two team tracks over here, and there'll be a track coming off freight house 1 with an industry, and we'll have a track coming off this team track here to serve an industry over here. Operations wise, we're going to have a slough track over here for use by the freight house yard drill. They can use this track to make runaround move and to slough cars into as they do the work over in the house yard. And that concludes our look at the operations at Jersey City. In addition to the 2 commuter trains between Cementon and Jersey City, passenger service on the Susquehanna and Hudson River. We begin the day with the newspaper train. Depart Jersey City about 2 o'clock in the morning. Go westbound to Wilkes-Barre. Look very much like the train in the photograph here from the Jersey Central. I think this is the Jersey Central's afternoon express train that ran to Mauchunk, and it was referred to as the Much Junk, carrying express and mail. And then this train will turn at Wilkes-Barre and come back to Jersey City as an early morning train from the Wilkes-Barre for people going to New York City for the day. And then we'll have an afternoon train that will leave Jersey City. And this will be for express and mail. It'll go to Wilkes-Barre. And then it'll turn at Wilkes-Barre, come back to Jersey City as a evening train for businessmen who went to Jersey City for the day to go back towards New York City. And that'll be the extent of our passenger mainline service. Passenger train operations will have all the passenger trains operating as first-class trains, and freight trains will all be running as extras. And that concludes this video of my track plan and operation goals for the new Susquehanna Hudson River Railroad. This layout's being built in Marysville, Washington. If anyone wants to come over and help, you're more than welcome. Just contact me and we'll arrange for something. And remember, if you found this video to be useful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. So this is Bob Stafford saying have a great month in the upcoming month. Have a prosperous month, and let's get out there and let's do some modeling and let's build something and let's go run some trains. Bye everybody.